Finally, the time has come for me to install this Corsair's IQ Elite LCD upgrade kit for their Cappelix coolers, which I just so happen to have installed in my computer back there. But Aaron, I hear you say, didn't you want to install more RGB into your computer, not take it away? Well, yes, but think of it as me not removing RGB, but just replacing it with LCD, which is infinitely more useful. So now let's hurry up and get it installed.
Alright, so let's try and open up the box here. And what do we got? There's the unit, nice and white, to try and match the rest of my system. There's the cables all nicely tied up there, we'll figure those out later. There's a splitter for the USB 2 port inside the motherboard. And here we got, oh, what's this? Some of those screws, I'll figure out what they're for later. And here's the warranty information, but no manual, no instructions for telling me how to put the whole thing together. Oh well, guess I'll have to figure it out on my own. Okay, so it looks like before I unscrew this faceplate, I'm going to have to first unplug all the connectors plugged into the motherboard. Plugged? Who the hell says plugged? Anyway, time to turn this thing around. Alright, there we go. Still nice and heavy. Gonna get this side plate off, just unscrew this finger tight screws here on the side. There we go, and just slide it off like so. And somewhere in there are the cables that I need to pull out. Alright, here we go. Of course, I can't remove the cables properly until I remove this side plate here. Remember that from my last video? Yeah. Ugh, and there's that little screw again. I hate it. Why couldn't they have used a finger tight thing like the side panel? And there we go. Release the cables. I knew I'd live to regret stuffing those cables in there. So I'll just unplug the cooler from the dedicated power plug on the IQ Commander core back here. And pull it free. There we go. And I'll just pull it free across the other side. Sorry about the focus on the camera, but I'm sure you can figure it out anyway. Just let me unplug this cable from the RGB header on the motherboard. Don't know why they have to make these things so skinny. I feel like I'm almost going to break it. And now I can finally unscrew these little doodads and get the faceplate off. This is where the plastic Allen key that came with the LCD screen comes in handy. There goes the plate, and there goes the camera's focus. Oh, this new camera really loves my hands, and what beautiful hands I have. Anyway, there it goes. Now I should just be able to pull it off, and that came off easier than I thought. Oh, don't need that anymore. And now I suppose we just line up the slot on the side here, so the cables can go underneath, and just slide it straight on. Or maybe not. That didn't sound good. I know what I forgot. Mounting screws. Okay, so apparently these just screw straight into the holes here. Alright, get your mind out of the gutter. Anyway, and because the screw heads are magnetic, they should attach to the magnets on the underside of the LCD screen for a solid fit. Alright, done. Now let's try and get this stupid thing on. Now it should go over the top, nice and not so easy. Alright, well that still doesn't feel very secure, like it's going to fall off at any minute. But I did cheat a bit and look this up on the Corsair website, and it does say this is what you're supposed to do, so let's see how we go. Alright, let me just undo this cable tie and release another set of cables that I'm going to have to find somewhere to stuff. Next we're going to plug this super thin cable into the RGB port on the motherboard, and then feed the rest of the cables through to the back of the computer. Let's spin the computer around, and there are our two new cables from the new LCD screen. Alright, and now we just need to plug this into the dedicated port on the Commander core. You can see the little grey square there, just above it. And it only goes in one way, so don't try and force it in any other. Alright, now it's time to grab that USB 2 splitter. Don't think I'd forgotten about you. Alright, so we're going to use the Y splitter here to connect the Commander core that came with the cooler and the LCD screen to the one USB port on your motherboard. Now it's important that you only plug these two things into the Y splitter, not any other RGB hubs or anything else you might have bought and need to power, otherwise it may not show up correctly in IQ. Alright, and after I've fed the cable through to the front of the computer, I just need to plug the cable into the USB 2 header on my motherboard. Alright, let's power this thing up and get it working. Sorry about the focus, but you can see there's a little animation going on there, very nice. Looks like the Corsair logo, and there's a CPU temp. Give it a chance to kick in. Maybe not. What does that mean? Corsair calls this a general error, which of course could mean anything, but in this case I think it has something to do with the fact that the LCD screen is not connected correctly to the cooler, and since the pump gets its power from the cables connected to the LCD screen and not to the cooler itself for some reason, we need to make sure it's connected properly.
2 hours later.
Well, that took longer than I thought. I was getting all sorts of temperature errors and CPU overheating messages. It was as if the pump wasn't even plugged in at all. Turns out, that's exactly what it was. And then I figured out how to fix it.
Basically, what I had to do was unscrew the 2 little tiny screws on the back of the LCD screen, thereby releasing the black shroud that's screwed onto the back of the screen, so I could just mount the screen directly onto the mounting screws that I screwed earlier onto the cooler. And it fit perfectly. I don't know why Logitech has that stupid shroud on there in the first place. Just take it off. Alright, so let's take a look at iCUE software while we're here. You can see my new LCD screen is showing up in the menu there, so I'm just going to click on it. Check out some lighting effects. You can see, yeah, get rid of that. You can see all the things you can do, the screens you can show up. See all my fans there. So this section will show what fan lights will remain on when the iCUE software isn't running. I'll just go through some of the presets here. You can set your own colors and whatnot, but I just like to stick with what's there. I'm not that into setting custom colors and stuff, but you might be, so that's good. Next we have the LCD screen itself and all the fun stuff you can put on that. So let's go have a look. Screen setup. So here's for the LCD screen. You've got all your different temperatures there. You can show up your CPU, fan, temperatures, even the RAM. Basically, whatever you've got plugged into your iCUE Commander Pros or cores, assuming they're plugged in correctly, on the screen. Now these are the actual designs and displays on the screen itself. As usual, I'm just going through the ones that are already pre-installed. Obviously, you can add your own. Oh, look there. See, there you go. You can add your own GIF or GIFs or however you want to say it. I don't have anything in particular I want to change it to, so I'll just stick to the default. And of course, just like the lighting setup, you can change the hardware screen, which means when iCUE isn't running, this was what the screen will display, which you can make a GIF or whatever the default setting is. And with it being a Cappelix cooler, you can do all the things you could normally do with your cooler, monitor temperatures, change your fan RPMs, change your cooling presets, the usual stuff. You can also set what happens during an emergency shutdown. And while we're going through device settings, you can check firmware, change the brightness, change the screen brightness, change the iCUE icon color to match the one in your actual system. And since mine's white, I'm going to change it to that. And change the LCD frame rate, which I'm going to leave right at 30 FPS. And that's pretty much a very basic and quick rundown of how you can customize your new LCD screen and cooler in iCUE.
Finally, now that it's working all properly again, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Please be nice because I'm exhausted. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Otherwise, I'll catch you later.